Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat pagi. Kita dijangka akan memulakan sesi ini pada pukul 9.15 pagi. Jadi saya nak buat sedikit makluman kepada semua peserta. Link kepada bahan penceramah, bahan yang akan dibentangkan oleh penceramah akan diletakkan di ruang chat. Manakala untuk soalan-soalan yang ingin ditanyakan kepada pembentang, hendaklah dikemukakan di ruangan pigeonhole. Boleh klik dekat QR code pigeonhole tu, dan kita juga akan sertakan link di ruang chat untuk soalan. Jadi saya mohon kerjasama semua untuk tidak meletakkan soalan di ruang chat, kerana kita tak akan jawablah soalan yang diletakkan di chat. Kita hanya akan jawab soalan yang dikemukakan melalui pigeonhole. Kita masih menunggu lagi bilangan peserta yang dijangka akan hadir. So kita akan mulakan pada sesi ini pada 9.15 pagi. Okey, itu saja. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome participant to our fourth webinar with the theme Inculturation of Digital Education through Open and Distant Learning. Seperti yang telah dimaklumkan sebelum ini, siri webinar ini dianjurkan secara kerjasama di antara Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi dan juga agensi Kelab Malaysia. One of the objective of this webinar is to strengthen digital learning culture and to enhance existing implementation of open and distant learning education conducted by higher education provider in Malaysia. Ini merupakan siri webinar yang keempat. 3 siri webinar telah dilaksanakan pada 3 minggu yang lepas. Mungkin ada juga peserta yang telah menyertai 3 seminar sebelum ini. Jadi tajuk-tajuk yang kita bentangkan dalam siri webinar ini mencakupilah hampir ke semua aspek utama dalam pengendalian open and distant learning program. And for today, this webinar will be the last session, and we are going to have 2 sessions today, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And the morning session will focus on SIM for social science program, while the afternoon session will focus on SIM for engineering program. So even though this is the last one, but surely not the last one, but not the least, and I would say SIM would be the most important aspect in conducting program through open and distant learning. Saya juga telah buat pengumuman sebentar tadi, jadi kepada semua peserta yang ingin menanyakan soalan, perlulah menggunakan link pigeonhole yang diletakkan di ruang chat. Manakala link kepada bahan juga akan diletakkan di ruangan chat. We are honoured to have Professor Dr. Zorani Wati Abbas, Prof. Dr. Zorani Wati Abbas as our speaker for today's session. So before we begin, let me take this opportunity to introduce Prof. Pak kata pepatah, tak kenal maka tak cinta, and she is not someone who is new in this arena. She is very experienced and it's not someone that I need to introduce lah. She's very experienced in this area of open and distant learning. So Professor Dr. Zorani Wati Abbas has been an educator most of her life. At present, she is the Dean for School of Distant Education at University Science Malaysia. She was previously the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Educational Technology for 3 years at Wawasan Open University in Penang. From 2013 to 2015, she was at the Sampurna University in Jakarta, Indonesia, where she was the founding director of the Center for Learning, Teaching and Curriculum Development, as well as the Acting Vice Rector for Academic and Student Affairs. She is Malaysia e-learning pioneer and advocate for online learning. She was a professor at Open University Malaysia, where she led the Center for Tutor Management and Development, Institute of Quality, Research and Innovation, and Center for Instructional Design and Technology at OUM. She designed and achieved success with the mobile learning project at OUM and trained a few hundred tutors and self-instructional material, SIM or module writers for OUM. So with that remarkable CV, she is here to be with us today and to share her knowledge and experience with all the participants today. So without further ado, we'd like to invite Prof. Dr. Zorani to start this session.
Okay, selamat pagi, Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera semua. Terima kasih Puan Shikin yang telah memperkenalkan saya sedikit sebanyak tadi. Well, number one, I must say that I'm honored to be here, to be able to share what I have been doing for so many years. It's not only about SIM, but also various activities in ODL. Mainly to help support our students, mainly to make sure that our students are provided with a minimum, and with and of quality. Just let me check. My sound is all right. Yeah, you can hear me well. Yeah. Can I get a confirmation?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's always something that everybody, when we do these online conferences, will ask, whether sound to do a sound check or to make sure that things are working out.
Cuma the slide is not.
It's not showing yet, right?
Yeah, the slide is
Okay.
maybe Prof need to stop share and try to share again. Maybe we can't see the slide properly.
Maybe I can do a new share. Let me see. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay, let me just expand it. Okay. Okay, so I think we are good to go. And okay, so the task that I've been given this morning is about self-instructional material, in particular about self-instructional material development. Yeah. Usually when I do these workshops, it's like 2 days total. We start Friday night or Friday evening until Sunday lunchtime. And we can do things shorter now. We can do things online. But for this next 3 hours or 2.5 hours, it will be mostly understanding what SIM is all about and how to get started and looking at how to write SIM and looking at also some examples. Yeah. So with that, let me proceed. Okay, apa khabar semua pagi ni? I hope you're ready to absorb some knowledge or, get your knowledge about SIM reinforced, or even, maybe some of you have questions about what is SIM. But basically, it's something fun actually, yeah, if you look at it that way. But it could also be something stressful for those who perhaps, do not like or do not enjoy writing. SIM requires us to write, but we will see how not difficult it can be. Okay. So anyway, I've been an educator for almost all my life. Yeah, ever since I left the university, I've been in maybe what 6 universities so far. Also been in corporate for about 1.5 years. I didn't like it, so I came back to academia. And today, I think in the last almost 20 years, I've been involved with open and distance learning. All right. What I'll cover this morning is to go or take you through an overview. And then after that, to have you understand what SIM is all about. And then we look at the design and development of SIM. Yeah. And then maybe have one practice session for you to understand what it takes to write SIM. Okay. Let me share with you an overview. Let's talk about ODL in general so that you can understand how SIM is part or can be an important part of it. Yeah, I think when Shikin mentioned that the ODL SIM is the most important thing. Yeah, it is the heart and soul of ODL. All right, so basically open and distance learning is about having working adults who are geographically spread out. Yeah, they could be local in Malaysia or they could be internationally located around the world. And for this, I'm thankful that, when I was at OUM, we developed a master's in instructional design and technology. It's still going on. But when we developed it, it was 100% online. And just imagine in 2008, we designed it, 2009, we started teaching it, and we had students from around the world. Some students were professors, some students were in distance learning, but did not have that paper qualification in instructional design. Some students were about or to be given responsibility to set up distance learning or open learning in their own colleges, or they're with Ministry of Education in their own countries. So I was fortunate that we had tried out this 100% 100% online distance learning. Well, it's open and distance learning, but this was a 100% online course. We never met our students actually from the start to finish. And just imagine, we were experimenting with a few platforms, media, at that time, until we got it right. And that was quite an experience. With ODL as well, if we have a very popular course, or a lot of students for one course, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands, we could have several facilitators for that course. Yeah, the main owner, yeah, the creator of the course or the lecturer of the course, who is usually full-time, will be the one to manage and monitor the performance of all these facilitators. And imagine if you have so many facilitators, how do you control the quality? How do you manage so that they don't do different things? Yeah, well, SIM helps that. Then facilitators could also be from various parts of the country or the whole world. So that's what we had for the MIDT. We had professors teaching from Germany, from Australia, from Indonesia, from can't remember where else, but we had a number of nationalities teaching the students. And when we asked the students, they said they were thankful that they had all these people teaching them. Yeah. Today it's all local. Somehow the university has decided to hire everyone who is local, but just imagine that experience can be done even today. Now we talk about assignments and exams. If you have hundreds and thousands of students, what can you do? You can always have other subject matter experts to mark our assignments and exams. I mean, it's impossible to mark 1,000 scripts, for example, within a week. So we have to do this. Yeah, we can do this. And of course, self-instructional materials for ODL is key to making all this happen, for self-regulated learning, for self-directed learning, yeah, self-managed learning. I mean, you can have a variety of this, and I'll again explain this later. And ODL can also leverage on technology. Yeah, the fact it should be able to leverage on technology. For example, the learning management system, social media, OERs, public domain, etc. And also it allows us, yeah, through SIM, and also what ODL should do is to standardize the program offering, especially at the course level, standardized to a certain aspect, and SIM is the one that helps it. And we can also have many learning centers around the country or the world. And I think if you were in last week's session, Dr. Shanti talked about OUM having learning centers in not only Malaysia, but also in some parts of the world. So that learning center is the one where administratively the student can physically go to if they have to. And we can talk about having thousands of students if you're into this, or right now, maybe, especially at the master's level, maybe less than 30 or 40, yeah, or even 100. Okay, let me go on. So that's what ODL is all about in general. And let me just say how fortunate I am to have been able to use everything from slate boards to tablets, yeah. And of course, with the tablet, the iPad was the one to have come out, yeah, early on in 2010. And in between slate boards and tablets, we have had a variety of teaching media such as blackboards, radio, films, film strips, educational television, OHP, slides, videos, and all that. Okay, the reason I mention this is because if you have had a wide variety of experience with media, I think you will understand that not all media is the same. we can pick and choose which is the most suitable medium, or which is the most suitable learning resource, which is the most suitable platform to use. So we can always adapt, we can always adopt, we can always design it to fit, yeah, our needs, yeah. And so we've had, things like, previously traditional learning is just chalk and talk, to blended learning, especially when we had all these various media, all these various online and non-online, and then we talk about remote teaching, we talk about online learning, and today some of us are trying to will go into open and distance learning. All right. Okay, instructional technology. Just want you to understand that the ideal person to help you in the conversion of, going from traditional to blended to online to ODL is someone in instructional technology, or you're using a template or something that has been developed by an instructional technologist, or more specifically, an instructional designer. So you see the first term there, instructional design is the process of designing instruction depending on what you need it for. Yeah. So it could be for training, it could be for something that's done online and so on. And these instructional designers or instructional technologists could be your learning architect. So just imagine if for your house, you need a learning architect to ask you questions about what you want your house to be like, what rooms do you need, what rooms will be used for, who will use it. So that learning architect is just like that. They will ask you, what are you going to teach? Is it skills based? Is it knowledge based? Is it cognitive? Is it psychomotor? Is it hands-on? Is it demonstration, or is it just informing them? And there are many things. And what learning activities do you want to use? So that learning architect will be someone that creates a blueprint. Maybe you don't see it all, but this learning architect will be asking you questions, and they will design something that they feel will be right for your students, yeah, and for your subject matter. Okay, an instructional design expert will also be familiar with learning theories and which ones to use, which ones to apply. Then there are ID models, and then we are concerned about learner readiness, how to prepare learners for the new learning environment, how to create learner-friendly materials, and then what do we do about increasing learner motivation if we have to, or making sure that we continue to motivate the learners through our learning materials, especially. And then we talk about learner assessment, which can also be in the SIM. And then we talk about constructive alignment, and that is the very basic we start from for SIM, and also about learning effectiveness and more. Yeah, so that is what instructional technology is all about. And from that Masters of Instructional Design and Technology, we have had a few Malaysians who graduated with that degree. And some of these people are in, like, Bank Negara, INSEF, who else? Petronas, Taylor's University, International Medical University. So our graduates are all over the place now, yeah? All right. Okay, so let's get started. Basically, we talk about course planning, yeah? When we do SIM, it is about developing a SIM for a course. So for that particular course, other than SIM, what else needs to be in there? Yeah, for an ODL, I think I will mention again later. For ODL, you have your SIM, you have your online sessions, the synchronous sessions, you have your online asynchronous sessions, where the learning management system is used, or even social media, or even communication tools like WhatsApp, Telegram, and so on. And you could be even using social media like Padlet, what else? Kahoot, Mentimeter, and everything else. Yeah, there's so many things. Media choice and mix again. Today, or let me say, when we first started, I mean, OUM being the ODL university and the university that was born in the internet age. In spite of being in the internet age, when we first started, SIM was basically hard copies. Yeah, they were basically print. But today we can think about PDF, we can think about ebooks, we can think about many types of or different versions, yeah, going beyond the hard copy. And then we talk about unit writing. So you have this course planning, you have identified, the various media platforms that you want to use, then you start writing, yeah? Incorporating all those things that you have just thought about. And then, of course, once you've written, you want to go into development testing, and this will involve the actual students or sample students for them to tell you, okay, I like this part, or I don't really like this part. Maybe you could give us more examples, something like that. So that's best practice. However, now some of you or some of us are starting to go into ODL. There is a balance between this cost and time, yeah? Cost, because if we do SIM, if we do it for large numbers of students, we know the cost of each unit or the cost of each copy of the material becomes economically feasible. I mean, if you have like a few hundred students, I mean, in a couple of years, you will recover your cost. If you have only, let's say, 50 students, it might take a few years before you recover your cost. But still, MQA requires us to have some form of SIM. Versus if we had textbooks alone, textbooks are also very expensive, right? I mean, I'm what you call this? Some of us are ordering textbooks that are 100 plus, 200 plus, and putting them in the library. We don't expect our students to use them, or at least we get the e-version. But anyway, if it's for ODL, if we don't have time to develop SIM, then maybe we can adopt a textbook, but we can also write a study guide for it. So it's a wraparound textbook, we call it. So that also is possible, study guides versus modules. Yeah. So modules and study guides are two forms of SIM. Typically, for a module, from experience, typically 12 to 18 months, because assuming that the author is also a full-time lecturer doing other things. So they write whenever they can, unless they are given like, one semester off and they do all the writing, but that's not possible unless they're on sabbatical, and that's what they do. And if you want to develop also textbook or study guides definitely possible, 4 to 6 months. But if you want to write a module, but if you do the module in such a way that you incorporate various media and all that, it could take 4 to 6 months also. Yeah. So typically it used to be 12 to 18 months. And I think I remember in the first session, UTM was saying that, for them to develop the course material was about 12 months. Okay, we go on. Okay, I think I've mentioned this. The forms of SIM are largely two different types, either modular or module, whether whole or in parts. So you could be whole as for the whole semester, or parts as in week by week, which you may want to upload or share the link, in your LMS, in your learning management system. The other one is if you had a textbook, then maybe a study guide, a wrap-around textbook. Okay, let's see what going to SIM a bit more so that you understand. Okay. All right. Fred Lockwood was one of my gurus. We invited him to teach us how to write self-instructional materials. Fred Lockwood is still around. He used to be with the Manchester Metropolitan University, and he wrote this book called The Design and Production of Self-Instructional Materials. It's a very good book, and what I'm telling you today, principles are in the same in his book, but I will add another layer, which is use of multimedia. Okay, Fred Lockwood has been around, maybe consulting in 30 plus countries so far, and he still does, but not only about SIM, but also about good teaching and learning. Okay, taking a seat back at the macro level, what is the role of SIM? And what is the role of SIM for the learner, the facilitator, and the institution? Okay, number one, it is a learner-friendly teaching material. By teaching material, we mean the sim is what teaches the student in its what you call this, yeah, in terms of the course, in terms of achieving the course learning outcomes. So the sim should be teaching the students. The academicians who are in ODL, well, we become facilitators of the learning. Facilitators meaning, okay, let's say the sim has taught the students and they are supposed to read the material before they come to our online synchronous sessions. So during the online synchronous sessions, we can't afford to lecture, or if we do, we cannot cover the whole syllabus. Typically, we have about 10 hours. Some universities have gone down to 8 or 6 hours even, yeah, for the entire semester, for the entire 3 or 4 credit hour course. So we can't do that. So how do we squeeze the typical 40 or 40 hours into 10 hours or 8 hours or even 6 hours? So the sim will help us, and what we do during the online synchronous sessions will be sort of like tutorials. So we would ask them questions, maybe give them questions. Okay, now that you read about this, what is your understanding, or how would you apply this, or have you seen actual examples of the theory? Applications of the theory, or how would you apply the theory? So you'll go deeper, or you will go into, you know, reinforcing what they have learned or what they have been taught in the sim, and then bring it to the next level of actually helping them to understand better. So understand doesn't mean application all the way, but at the same time, if they don't apply, you can check their understanding. Yeah. And the sim is also the driver of all other teaching activities. So if you look at my the picture there, so it's a driver in the sense that sim is what is used to decide or to integrate the other elements of teaching. So it could be having the students go into forums in the LMS. It could be about, yeah, this is okay, now that you've read this, okay, think about this, this is what we will discuss in our online sessions. Or it would be about, you know, like teaching activities could be assessment, right? Assessment for learning or assessment with learning. So it could be the driver of those kind of activities. And the same is also the equalizer. So for example, at the institutional level, if you have a course that's taken by, let's say, 500 students, and let's say you have 100 tutors, or even 50 tutors, let's say, who doubles up each time, or in the internet age or in the post-COVID age, we can have more students online, right? For example. So same equalizes the what you call the delivery of the course, because same has everything in it. Yeah. So who, doesn't matter who the tutor is. Sometimes tutor prefers to what you call this, they emphasize on different things, or they give more examples of something but not on the other. So the same will help to equalize. So there's good things. These are the good things about sim. But at the same time, you know, we talk about, you know, the different elements in the system. That doesn't matter, yeah, traditional or ODL or you know, online. We do have a few things taking place in our learning ecosystem. We must be able to connect each one of them. Yeah, we do, or we focus different things at different times, but there must a reason for there must be a reason for doing it. And next, this is very, very simply put. Let's just assume that an ODL system comprises, let's say, the four main things. Yeah. So you have your material, your sim. You have, yeah, using the LMS. You also have your synchronous sessions, and the synchronous sessions could be tutorials. Pardon the spelling, the typo error there. The tutorials or the lab. And you also have your assessments. It could be your assignments. It could be um, uh, self checks, yeah, in your sim. So all these four are the main elements, right, in the ODL ecosystem. And how do these four connect to each other or with each other, and what each one, yeah, each one's role is. So that is what we have to take into account. And we have to do all this before we even start the course. Okay. Once you've designed this, I mean, it will take some time. I remember when I was teaching the online courses, it takes a while to plan for the whole course. And then after that, before the course begins, you'll have to plan like 2 or 3 or upload stuff in advance for like say 2 or up to 3 weeks of materials. Yeah. I remember taking an entire weekend just to do that, just to plan it and to do the materials and then upload them, and then to be able to tell the students or communicate with them what they have to do, the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that's the kind of thing we have to do. But once you have done that, then after that you can wait another, couple of weeks before you do the same thing, and then all the way until the end of the course. But in between, you kind of relax and you just wait to see what happens. Yeah. And when you wait to see what happens, it's not because it's still about, how you had designed for it to happen. So, but it might happen in slightly different ways because it depends on who you have as students. Their background will determine some differences, especially when you're discussing in the online forum or in terms of, their Q&A, yeah, in terms of their needs, yeah, different situation and so on. Let's talk about what a good sim is. Okay, number 1, it provides content to the learner. Number 2, it structures the content into bite-sized portions. Number 3, it provides activities to help students learn the content and apply it. It also provides feedback to learners. It is motivating to the students or to the learners, and it enables the learners to evaluate their progress all through the sim. In short, sim is a learning material that teaches the student. So if we are the author of the sim, we must do it in such a way that we are teaching the student through sim. So whether sim is something in print, something in electronic, we have to do that. Some other characteristics, some are a repeat. Basically, it is developed on sound instructional design principles. And if you go to most books or manuals on how to develop sim, it is all about this, sound instructional design principles. And it is to be learner friendly. That means when a student picks it up, they'll find that the sim is like someone talking to them. Okay. It is written in a friendly or conversational written style. Yeah, that's what it is. So they feel as though someone is teaching them or talking to them. Sim uses simple language, and there are lots of examples in sim, yeah, to help the student understand concepts, theories, principles, yeah, and so on. And there are as many learning activities as possible, and also for self-assessments, and we give them feedback through what we ask them to do. It has less text than what a textbook has. I mean, I remember when I was a student, yeah, the textbooks were quite thick, and I was a biology student, so all the biology textbooks, all very thick. But it's got illustrations, yeah, it got diagrams, it's got pictures. But still, when I pick up a textbook, I have to highlight, I have to take notes, maybe write notes in the margin, to make sense of it, yeah, to customize it. It's like you're interacting with the material, but at the same time, you have to help yourself, yeah, make sense, yeah, of what you're reading. So, but with sim, hopefully very little of that is needed, yeah, because there's more, I mean, there's more, I mean, it's been explained quite short, quite precisely, and after that you mix it with the forums, you mix it with your online sessions, so together all that make up a complete set of instruction. Sim is also will have a highly structured layout, and it could be in various forms, print-based, digital, or mixed mode. Okay. Now, in some, sim is something related to individual learning. It is well structured. It has to be smooth flowing from content to from topic to topic, or unit to unit, or paragraph to paragraph. It has to be bite-sized. So let's say you have one chapter or one topic or one unit. You break it up into a few sections. So each one is a complete micro set of instruction. It is learner friendly, and learner friendly is basically about, I mentioned earlier, written in a friendly manner, written as though the lecturer is having a conversation with the student, lots of examples and so on. So SIM should be self-motivational. So the minute the student picks up the material or goes through the material, they find that, oh, this is interesting. They start reading and they continue reading until let's say the set time that they had for themselves is up. Let's say they set up, okay, 1 hour. So in 1 hour, they will do everything. It's not like they pick up the sim and then say, oh no, this is so difficult to understand. Yeah. I read for maybe 15 minutes and maybe come back to it later, or worse, they start reading it and they start feeling that, oh, this is overwhelming, and they put it aside and you don't know when they'll pick it up again. Now, it should also be for self-learning, meaning the students, the minute they get into the SIM material, they'll be able to learn on their own, because SIM is about teaching the students. So self-learning, it's self-contained. Everything is in it. Yeah, everything. But then sometimes it leads out to something else. Yeah, but that's all right. So self-contained in the sense that the syllabus, everything in SIM will help the student to achieve the learning outcomes. Self-explanatory. Hopefully the students will be able to understand with how things are explained in there. Let's say you talk about process, you talk about theories. It's easy to understand. Yeah, they don't have to refer to another book to understand. Self-directed. So that means the students feel that, all right, I know what to do, where to go, and they're comfortable. So they sort of like, they're like their own manager, yeah, learning manager. So they take control of their learning, and they use SIM in such a way that, they themselves decide what to do, when to do, as long as they meet the what you call this, the milestones and so on. Yeah. You could call it study schedule. So let's say by a certain time, they must finish certain material. So something like that. Yeah, they self-direct themselves. And the other one is SIM also provides the opportunity for the student or the learner to test their own knowledge, how much they have understood, how much more they need to understand, what else they need to do to understand. It could be rereading the same, or it could be, okay, well, the tutorial is coming up, I may as well think of a few questions where I still don't understand things, and then ask the tutor to explain a bit more. So something like that. Now we're talking about the ideal actually, but still, this is what we aim for. Yeah. All right. Now, we're familiar with textbooks. Most of us, many of us have learned or taken courses and have had to use textbooks. Otherwise, we feel that we may not have got the content. Yeah, the lectures alone may not be enough. But I know today's students, lecturers share their PowerPoint, and their PowerPoint is quite filled, yeah, with text and all. And the students sometimes make do with those slides. But in my days, I know all of us depended on textbooks, yeah, because the teachers don't use PowerPoint. There were no PowerPoints at that time, only OHPs, and they don't share OHPs with us. All right. So what's the difference between textbook or SIM? Maybe I'll give you a few seconds to think about this. And let me see, can I get into chat if you can start saying something? You want to have the slide link? Okay, I see some posting there. But do you want to say something about this? I mean, what is the difference between a textbook, and a SIM? Okay, somebody is saying there, SIM is easier to take with you. Okay. Yeah, textbooks are all very heavy, yeah, and very big, cumbersome. SIM, if it's in e-form, it's on your phone. All right, SIM is more concisely than the textbook. Correct. You just handle, address the basics. Yeah, the textbook is like everything because it's not customized, yeah, for your course. So it has many things more things than you need in there. Okay, textbook is more lengthy, SIM is more interactive, textbook is more detailed, SIM, good. SIM is simplified version. Okay, textbook has elaborated explanation, okay. And okay, SIM is easier to adapt for learning needs such as making text larger. Textbook has many words. It will take a lot of time, yeah, for you to digest. Textbook is heavy, SIM is accessible. Okay, so those are some of the examples we got. That's good. You get it, or maybe you're already developing your own SIM, so okay, SIM is dedicated to the learning outcome. Correct. It's customized. Textbook is not. Yeah, textbook will have their own learning outcomes, and it could be the same as your course. It may not be the same. Okay, textbook includes everything, but SIM is more to what we need for that course. Exactly. SIM is more modular. Yes, it can be modular. It can be, depends on how you want to design it. It could be week by week. It could be topic by topic. Yeah. SIM is to integrate the pedagogy. Exactly. To engage students while they are referring to the SIM. Correct. Textbook is 2D. SIM is 4D. Okay. All right. Any more? I may have missed some, but I'm reading as fast as I see some of these messages coming in. But all right, I think that's enough. You get the idea for those who have shared with us. But basically, that's what it is. Yeah, a textbook is more cumbersome. I think students, you know what? I know one university that gives out textbooks, and some of the students are saying, we don't want these textbooks. The course is taught in Malay, but why is the textbook in English? So, and some students tell me, their friends, they didn't even open the textbook. The textbook is still wrapped in plastic, they don't open it. So I hope SIM will not be like that. SIM should be the minute they start reading, they will become engaged and they will go on, section by section and then page by page all the way to the end. So that's what a good SIM should be. Yeah. We have to design it. Yeah. It's not automatic. Okay. This is about design and development. I will show you some examples and let's see if we can have as many people participate, yeah, in an exercise. Yeah. All right. Now we all know this. We know about the OB framework. We know about constructive alignment. It's something that when the MQA panel of assessors come and visit to assess our programs, they look for this first. This is the macro framework. Constructive alignment is important because it's evidence-based learning nowadays. Yeah, they want to see whether the course learning outcomes have been achieved. They want to see samples of assignments. They want to see samples of what you provide them in terms of learning materials. They want to know what you do, yeah, for the students. If there's computer programming, do you have a long enough session, maybe in the lab, together with them? If you're teaching a science course, physics, bio, chemistry, engineering lab, yeah, they want to know whether you have enough lab sessions with them. So it's all about constructive alignment. You have your course learning outcome. You decide that. Usually 3, maybe 4. Sometimes MQA panels tell us you should just have 3 and that's enough. So if you had 5 before, you have to bring it down to 3. Or, if you had 4, they say, no, just 3, So then you have to redesign your learning outcome. And then maybe for new courses, they're looking for 3, then you just do 3, 3, 3. But I know some universities also do 4. So I think there's some kind of leeway there, but basically course learning outcomes are course learning outcomes. Okay. For those course learning outcomes to have evidence that they have been achieved by the students, you need to design and implement learning activities, the right learning activities, so that the students get what they need to know and can show evidence that they have met or achieved the learning outcomes. And of course, you don't see that unless you have assessments. So assessments, you have formative assessments, you have summative assessments, assessments such as maybe essays, depending on the course learning outcome. Yeah, it could be essays, it could be quizzes, it could be even forums, it could be presentations, it could be papers, essays, writing assignments. I mean, so many forms of assessments. And if it's final, it could be final exam, it could be a final coursework, projects, and so on. So there are a variety of things that we can do, but basically constructive alignment. That's my main message actually. Yeah, constructive alignment between the three things: learning outcomes, assessment, and the activities. Yeah. Okay, structuring a sim. Okay, we don't just simply start writing without knowing where we are or where we are going or what we're trying to achieve. Yeah, we have to have an outline or a structure. So like a building, you start with the foundation and then you have a structure. I mean, before you even start that building, you know what the structure is going to look like. You know what has to be done, yeah, to create what you call this, a sound or a strong structure so that the building does not collapse in a month or in 5 years, yeah. So you have to structure this very well. Of course, the building collapses if you didn't design it well. With sim, yeah, you don't think that it's not like a what you call this I mean, you won't create students who will fall ill or have accidents, but still a sim, if you're teaching them, they only have that one semester, yeah, to understand your course. And if your course is a foundation course to other courses, then gosh, you better try to have the students understand, yeah, this basics or this foundational knowledge, so that when they go on, they have that solid foundation. Okay, a typical structure could be this. Let's say if you were to divide it, well, I divide it into part 1 and part 2 just to make a difference or a distinction. Part 1 could be a welcome note from the lecturer or the author of SIM. Then you could give the course synopsis in there, as well as the course learning outcomes, course level, and then the study schedule for the semester or for the course. So it could be by unit or it could be by week. Then you would specify, typically in ODL, we will have the student learning time specified, and you can take it from table 4. And then what are the assessment methods that you will use? So you might want to spell it out there. Maybe not specifically the exact assignment, but at least the weightage and the type of assessments that you will have for the course, yeah, for your students. And part 2, let's say we can have the table of contents and then the respective topics or units, or some people might just want to use chapters, but I think chapter reminds me of a book, so maybe we should use topics or units. And for each topic or unit, before that, you want to decide how many topics or units. I've seen universities with 5 units, some universities go for 10 units, with rare exceptions. Yeah, the standard is 10, they might have 8, they might have 12, yeah, for some courses. And same thing, if you have 5 topics, some universities, yeah, that typically have 5 topics, sometimes they will have up to 7. So depending, because sometimes the body of knowledge changes, so you want to incorporate new content, yeah, to match the body of knowledge, yeah, for that particular course. Then of course, within each unit, you spell out, yeah, the learning outcomes for that topic or unit. Yeah, it'll be nice, yeah, so that the students know, and you also you are reminded, yeah, when you write or as you write, what the learning outcomes are, yeah, for this particular unit. You give a brief introduction, if possible, something motivational, something interesting. Let's say it's a boring subject like history. I consider history a boring subject. So then if I read the introduction, it's like, oh, wow, okay, this is interesting. I want to, I don't mind going through this, yeah. Should be interesting, yeah, to go through this unit, for example. And within each unit, you have sections or subsections or units or sections and subsections, yeah, depending how you want to organize your content. And then in each section or subsection, it's about you providing that learning content. That learning content is done in such a way that the students understand what you are teaching them, yeah. So if it's about theories, if it's about principles, if it's about steps, if it's about sequence, or if it's about evolution or historical information, all that is in there. So teach them that. Followed by activities that maybe enables the students the opportunity to understand it a bit better, the opportunity to understand it in different contexts, and then followed by self-check. Self-checks is where the students are given, let's say, a quiz or something very brief, just for them to check whether they have understood what you have tried to teach them. Yeah. If they feel that they didn't understand, then of course they can repeat the reading and all that. That means maybe they read, but they didn't pay attention so much. So, they read, but, distractions maybe, cause them to not focus, so many reasons. Yeah. Sometimes people, one go, they understand, but some people may need 2 or 3 revisions. Yeah. And if you had provided videos, they want to watch a second time and so on. So those are the activities and the self-checks. Okay, then you want to provide a summary for the topic or unit. And I usually like to suggest that you use key terms, yeah, somewhere at the end, so that when the student looks at the key terms, they know that, all right, I understand this term, I understand that term, but I don't understand this. So then they'll go back to revisit. Yeah, so that's the purpose. To me, that's the purpose. And of course, the references, if you actually cited some sources, then you want to have that list of references at the end of your unit, or you can collect them all and put it at the end of your sim. All right, then for self-checks, you want an answer key. So you decide whether you want an answer key to be right at the end of the unit or right at the end, very end of the material. Yeah, I'll call it module or study guide even. Okay, this is an example, something that was created in 2019. Okay, this is something that could be streamed into the student's mobile phone or tablet or notebook or PC. Yeah, it could also be printed. But when you print, of course, the interactivities are lost. I'm going to show you screenshots. Yeah, I don't have the link anymore because I'm no more here. But something that was conceptualized and also developed by the team. I had a very good team who understood what was needed, and they experimented for a few months. Different software, different platforms, different ways of doing it until they got it right. And then after that, we come up with something like this. So you have your credits page, you have your table of contents about the course, yeah, in terms of course details. Then the student learning time. And then you want to give maybe the course synopsis, yeah, course content. Sometimes you can even welcome them here. You can put yourself here in a video or in audio and welcome the students. Yeah. Now this one was done very quickly. MQA was coming, so then I think we took about 4 months, yeah, to do everything. This is a study guide, not a complete module, because what you call this, the PDF had already been done, let's say 10 years before this. So now we just want to refresh, yeah, help the students better. We don't want them to read 400 pages of PDF. We want them to be able to self-manage themselves better. And this is redesigned, but in the form of a study guide. Yeah. All right. So then, of course, course learning outcomes is course level. See, you see that now is 3. Before that, they had like 4 or 5. And then the study schedule, this is by unit. So which units? Let's say unit 1 is all the way up to 4 weeks. Okay. And then the topics that are covered and what subsections you're supposed to do, what videos, what self-checks, and so on. So this one can be done in different ways. It's up to you, but we didn't have that much time. So this was what we came up with at that time. And it's good. Yeah, it's good to help the students pace themselves, yeah, in that manner. Yeah, otherwise they leave things to the last minute, and before you know it, it's half semester gone or full semester gone. And this is just a general description of the assessment methods. So course assessment 1, course assessment 2. Now there were 2 assessments as formative form. So they could be quizzes. I mean, so again, it's not specific, but for this particular program, they have decided that it could be a quiz, it could be a group work, it could be a presentation, it could be a proposal or an essay or annotated bibliography and so on. Yeah. So same thing with assessment 2, and then after that, the final exam. Yeah. And the total makes up 100%. So then again, table of contents, 5 units. Yeah, this particular university wanted only 5 units. That's how they organize themselves. And in each unit, these are the sub units. All right. So, well, unit structure, basically, this is very simplified. the title, the learning activity 1.1, self-check 1.1. So you just follow the same thing throughout. So if you don't want to make life complicated, then just do the same thing, same template for every subunit. Then you have your summary, you have your references. Okay. You just imagine that when the student reaches this page, they can always click on this video and it plays right there, right, in the same page. It is, let's say, typically a YouTube video, but yeah, I don't remember, but this could have been a YouTube video. Let's say if it's a YouTube video, so then the source would be a YouTube site here. So when the students play, it will play in YouTube. Yeah, we did not download it into another server. We don't claim it to be our own. It is YouTube still. But please pay attention to this. Okay, now this particular approach is about having the students watch the video. It is called Introduction to Accounting. It takes about 2.08 minutes. So they watch it. And then after that, we start introducing them to this topic. Okay. I don't know whether you can read. I hope you can read this. Can you all read this? See if you can read this. And I think I have it repeated on another slide. So if you don't finish reading everything, it will be on another slide. Yeah. And that will be more readable than this. So you've got the introduction, and then we introduce the learning outcomes for the topic. So then the students can focus, okay, what is it that they have to understand? Is it that they have to be able to do? So to describe, to illustrate, to demonstrate, to explain. Okay. So we give the content, yeah, introduction, introducing accounting. So what is accounting? So that's specified there. You give the reference, yeah, and all that. And this, actually, I went through this very quickly. I took, I think, about one whole day to go through the 5 units and revise a little bit and turn some information into tables or something like that. Yeah. So, for example, the author had originally written this in the text. So then what I did was I tease it out and put it in visual because there's no explanation anyway. So, it's easier to see it this way, for example, yeah. And of course you label the figure, and then it says that in order to understand each of the above 13 concepts, read unit 1, page such and such. So because there was another, let's say, it could be a textbook, but in this case, the original PDF material. So we want the students to read all these pages. Yeah. Okay. Then again, learning activity 2. Learning activity 1.1. So that was the 13 concepts. Okay, you could have read it, but you could have also watched this video. And this was an in-house video, so the 13 concepts are there. And then you can give them a self-check. Then you go to the next subsection or subunit. And the same thing, you get them some text, you give them diagrams so that they can focus on what's important, or quickly distinguish between in this case who uses the annual reports. Yeah, so you have your internal users, external users, and then the learning activity, the self-check. So of course in between you have forums, you have the tutorial sessions. Yeah, well, all this, yeah, the students get all the content from here, but also get all the other help with teaching and learning in the forums. Okay, so that's part of that topic 1 or unit 1. And just let me share with you, I think some of you know Prof. Abdul Karim Alias. So he recently, maybe just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, made this book available. Yeah, you have to purchase it. Yeah, not free. So so just look at the way the pages are designed. Look at the way the cover is designed. It's very interesting, this is not a course material. This is just about the 25 ways that we can use to teach students to think. So if you are in need of this, go ahead, consider this book. But just look at the way the pages are designed. Very interesting. Yeah. And if you want to know how he did it, he has a YouTube tutorial on the workflow that he adopted for his book. So if you're interested, it's there. Okay. Let me just move on to the next slide. Okay. Today, I think you will agree that we are in the age of YouTube videos, social media, and also Netflix. If it's not Netflix, iFlix, and what other whatever other flicks. So we might as well, yeah, because our students are into this. So we might as well consider how we can incorporate videos or social media into our sim. And by the time you do that, with all these videos integrated together, because it can be streamed into your mobile phone, I will call it, or even notebook, yeah. I will call it learning on the go. So you have your notebook, you have your phone, or you have your tablet, wherever you sit, let's say while having lunch and you're alone. Let's say lunch is only 10 minutes, yeah. Then while you're sitting, having your drink or having your tea, coffee, you might just click on the link of to the sim, I mean the student, and then they will start learning. So it could be unit by unit, or you could be subunit by subunit, yeah, depending on how much time they have and how fast they absorb the content, as long as there's internet, yeah. But if there's no internet, this thing can be downloaded too. And you can, yeah, you can download the PDF version, but you won't be able to have it interactive, yeah. I also would like to call it tutor in the pocket. Yeah, because if it's your phone, it can be a tutor sitting right in your phone. And usually, yeah, most of us, especially the men, will have it in their pockets. So it could be like that. Okay, let me talk to you about how to write for a sim. We are all academics. We lecture. We are used to writing academic papers or papers that we want to publish. Yeah. Research papers or research based on research findings and so on. SIM has to take a different approach. Yeah, it's not academic writing. Let me just give an example. Not an example. This is what I would suggest. You write as if you're having a conversation with your student. I mean, this is what also all the other manuals will say. Yeah, right. As if you're having a conversation with your student. I always say, okay, just imagine the student sitting right in front of you. How would you explain? How would you teach the student? So when we talk to the student, what kind of language do we use? Of course, you cannot change, you cannot swap technical terms, technical jargons with layman term, but you can explain, let's say, some principles, let's say Archimedes principle, in what you call this in layman language. Yeah, you could explain, let's say, theories of learning. How would you explain it? If you're talking about, let's say, digital marketing, how would you explain it if you're having that student seated in front of you? So just imagine that, and then you write. Typically, shorter sentences or in a language or style that is easy to understand. Yeah, it's not academic language. Yeah, not formal, not dry kind of writing. Keep it bite-sized or biteable. So that means you organize your content into bite-sized or into biteable pieces. And then make sure you have, where possible, or where you should, visuals, diagrams, charts, and whatever else that help to bring meaning or bring your text, yeah, to life. And of course, usually good teaching also includes examples. Sometimes you have to give non-examples, especially in gray areas. And also maybe, if it helps, analogies. And if you want students to remember, you can even throw in the acronyms and whatnot. So you can also do that. And if possible, integrate online resources for the learning, or even platforms for the learning activities. Okay, so that's how you should start thinking. Now, this is the text I mentioned to you that if it's too small earlier, I've made it available on this slide. Just take maybe, I think 1 minute or 1.5 minutes to read this and tell me what you think about the way this has been written. Taken from an actual module, yeah? Okay, give you that 1 minute. Oh, Mr. Kuldip Singh is saying here, yes, learning anyway is a norm now. Sometimes called traffic. Okay, a traffic university. Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, so about 1 minute, I think. So if I may ask, do you like the introduction? Somebody is saying clear direction for now. That's good. All right, we'll design the conversation in a visual form. Okay, very good. All right. Now, how do you like this introduction? You like it or you don't like it? Or if you like it, why? If you don't like it, why not? Okay. I wonder whether you can speak or you just want to type in the chat column. Okay, somebody is saying too lengthy. All right. Easy to understand, reassuring tone, provides a roadmap. Okay, if you want to speak, I'm not in control of the mics, but why don't you just unmute and see whether you can speak?
If Prof, we can allow the participant to speak, but they have to raise their hand, then we are going to allow to,
okay.
we can on their mic.
Okay.
If anyone wanted to speak, then they need to raise their hand.
Okay, raise your hand and then unmute your mic. Otherwise, typing also not bad because quite fast, yeah? Okay, can explain, put in layman term, induction strategy. Okay, some of you know about that. Too much text to read. Okay, all right. Portion in the box can be put in a scenario format. All right, yeah. I mean, this is a
Prof,
quick...
Prof, sorry, we have 6 person raising their hand. I'm not sure whether they are doing it, they wanted to speak, or we are going to allow them to speak now.
Okay, we just take the 6. Yeah, just the 6.
Take the 6,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We have what I see on my screen, Geraldine Chan. And after that, Nurain Ismail. Geraldine, can you unmute and say what you'd like to say? Okay, I like the comments in the chat. You're thinking and you know how to improve it. Okay, that's good. All right, Geraldine, are you able to unmute your mic?
Sorry, I think there was an accident. I accidentally pressed the raise hand.
Okay, then that's all right. Nurain, did you want to say something? Nurain? Okay, we'll come back to you if you really want to say something, but how about Nur Farhana, is it? Romeli. And then Muhammad Nasaruddin, Dr. Nur Aida. Okay, anyone? Or did you accidentally raise your hand? Okay, everyone here has ideas, yeah? A picture, and somebody is asking, what is induction? Yeah, if you didn't come from education, then you don't know what induction is. Basically, an induction is something that you do it's like a warm-up, yeah? It is like attracting the learner to the topic. So an induction, you don't really have content in here, yeah? All right, somebody wanted to speak. Somebody has the mic
Hi.
on.
Yeah, sorry, doctor. My mic wasn't working just now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so doctor, thank you very much for the very informative talk going on. I'm looking into what you're presenting right now, the writing for a sim in conversational style. I'd just like to hear your opinion on this because what I've been experiencing with my students is not all students, because I'm dealing with part one students, first semester students, who do not necessarily have the appropriate writing skills that they need. In this context, could be in science and technology, biology, for example. So my concern is in some of my students' final essay submissions, their style of writing is not appropriate for the context that is being asked of them. So my concern with this style of conversational style is that it will influence the students to write in this manner, which we don't tend to prefer when it comes to scientific writing. As you can see in the first sentence, what is money? What is money as related to accounting? So generally, if my students start their essay with a question, it's more of a narrative essay. It's more of a creative writing rather than scientific writing.
Yep.
So while I do agree that this is approachable, this is very good for certain type of students, but I'm afraid that it might influence students in a wrong direction.
All right. Conversational style is where we teach. If you wanted them to write, was it just now you were saying technical writing for biology, was it? So it's a biology report, is it? A report on biology experiments, is that what you mean?
Something like a report, yeah, you could say that.
Yes. So what you want to teach them is to teach how to write the report. So when you explain to them how to write the report, how would you explain it in the normal classroom?
Normally, the way that we would do it is we would provide examples for them, and they would learn from the adapt from there. Yeah.
So the same thing, you do the same thing, but how do you introduce the examples or the samples? How do you
generally provide, for example, if you were to give a lab manual, the introduction section would have the general tone of voice that we would want from them, so they would adapt from there.
Okay, so then you do the same.
So for the writing for the sim in this context, you would suggest that we adopt that same tone of voice in that writing.
The tone of voice is only for the teaching part. When it comes to what they are supposed to learn, the skills they're supposed to pick up, then it doesn't differ from how you've been teaching it. It's only the explanation that you make it conversational. So it's like you're explaining to them, okay, how do we write lab reports? Yeah. This is a template, and let's look at some examples. So you show them the examples, and the examples are scientific writing. The examples are not written in conversational style. Yeah. Examples are scientific writing or report writing for lab experiments, for example, or lab observations. Yeah. And then so you show them samples, and and maybe you can get them to write based on what they've done in the lab, write a report. And that's again technical. It's not conversational. Conversational is only when you want to teach them how to use a template, how to look at the examples, learn from the examples. What did they notice about the writing style in the examples, and then for them to emulate that writing style, not the conversation, but the report writing, the actual report, the template, how you write sections in the report, that sort of thing.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. All right. I didn't mean to get into that kind of questions, but never mind. But I was asking for comments on this paragraph, not paragraph, on this section that you saw, that you're seeing, the introduction. Yeah. So anyway, somebody's saying what? Make this page into a video. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do anything. Yeah. But please try not to overdo it. I mean, not everything should be in video form. But it's up to you. Who knows? The students want to watch video after video after video. We can try. Why not? For me, I'm open, because students these days are just different. Because like even for me, let's say I want to pick up, the lockdown, yeah. I wanted to know how to cook certain food. I go from recipe to recipe to recipe. Yeah, there's nothing in between. So then once you see, oh, okay, I think I can easily understand this recipe, or because it gives us a content, what you call this, the ingredients and how to cook. Then I stop, and after 3-4 videos, and stop at that video, and then use that as the recipe that I will follow. The same thing with the students. I don't know. I think all of them will have their own styles. They like the video. Sometimes they prefer to read. Sometimes they prefer to have text and visuals. So yeah, why not? We can just try. I would do a variety, but not. But yeah, if you are willing, or if you want, do video after video and see what happens. Yeah. Okay, maybe just one more person. If you want to talk on the what you see on the screen, but otherwise we have quite a number of responses in the chat, so maybe we can move on. Yeah, is that all right? Okay, so next slide. This is real work. This is a draft from one of our lecturers at the School of Distance Education, yeah, in USM, where I work. Yeah? I gave them some training. I think, was it maybe July, or maybe either June or July, yeah, late June, early July. Gave them training, and they wrote, yeah. So this comes from an advanced calculus course, level 2 course, the very first draft that was submitted not too long ago, yeah. And it's in progress. Language editing is going to be done. Instructional design elements will be added, so I was quite what you call this, not amazed, but tickled by the fact that this lecturer, now he's in his early 30s, yeah, but he has, in 8 years, yeah, 2, 4, 5 types of phones. And he happened to have kept them. He took a picture of them just to illustrate a point in one of his what we call it, topics. Okay, so he says that figure 1 shows the revolution of my smartphone, yeah, being arranged from the older one until the latest one. So you can see, because I think he was talking about patterns, yeah. So that's why he used something simple to talk about patterns and advanced calculus. All right. So do you think this is nice? The way the students engage to think, to prepare them to talk, to consider patterns. Anyone in calculus here or mathematics? Of course, the other parts are all calculations. I'm not going to show. I'm not going to talk about subject matter in terms of science, but I want to illustrate how we write, basically. And then when you show calculations, of course, that's a normal method, yeah? Okay. All right, let me just check the chat box. Quite interesting. Okay. Very valuable to the students. No clear pattern. Oh, okay. Okay, this shows what increasing order production years. The sequence is consistent. The common difference is 2 years. And this can be seen as arithmetic sequence. All right. Okay, now if you didn't understand, because I only gave you a snippet, yeah, of the content. Yeah, book arrangement. I said this was a first draft. This is in Word form, and maybe another 2 months, yeah, of treatment to get this up to an interactive mode. Someone said it's a good intro. Someone says what? Should do one for myself. Datin Mahuna. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. For the fun of it. Yeah, why not? Okay, let me show you another one. Now, this is also draft, first draft, yeah, first draft. Nothing has been done. So normally when they do this, we will have a team to work on it, yeah. This is just content. not even language edited yet, no ID yet, but this is it. So look at the way it's written. This is for geography. And they use a video. Of course, the video is not in video form. I mean, it's just the link, but there'll be treatment for this. Okay, another example of a draft. These are all drafts, yeah? First draft from the writer, nothing has been done. Okay, this is what physics, the nature of light, yeah? The title of the topic is Nature of Light. So again, a short intro and then a video. And this is just a very first paragraph that was written for this topic 1. Okay, another one. Okay, this is something that I wrote about 15 years ago. This is for a master's level course. And this part, okay, I've got this other 2 things. I got 3 slides on this. Basically just, okay, this is about like history, yeah, or evolution. This part I can make it very, very like storytelling, yeah. Just give you half a minute to quickly go through. This is just an intro to this section. Okay. This is some of the most serious parts about, let's say, principles of conditions of learning. So again, just take a look at the style I used. Do you see anything in there? Is it easy to follow? At least look at the flow. Okay. Now this something that was done almost 20 years ago. Of course, this was the best it can be. Yeah. No color because printing would be expensive. Yeah. And I remember our budget for printing of the modules was like more than 10 million, per year. Okay, next. Teaching them about a share model. You can use cartoons, credit them if you are using somebody else's work. You can use videos. I mean, before that, we don't think about using videos, yeah. At that time, internet was not, the bandwidth was not good enough to be able to just have everybody watch videos. So, but I just want to focus on style of writing, yeah. Okay. Now, let's try. Now it's almost 10:40. We are supposed to stop at 11:30, yeah? One chicken, I think. 11:30 was it? 11.
11:30 should be okay.
Okay, 11:30. So let's take a few minutes to do this. After this is just a very quick. I have some very. I have slides, but they can be gone through very quickly. But let's try this. You have your own course, yeah. You have your own course. Select one topic from this course, any course that you're teaching, and write a short introduction to your topic. And I had some comments earlier. You will put a video. Of course, you can't just have the video there sticking out just like that. You must be doing an introduction to the video, or say something about the video so that the students will watch it. That intro, whether it is using video as part of your intro, or just using text, or maybe using cartoons, quotations, whatever, the imagination, up to you. And you can be as creative as possible. You could bring in an event, you could bring in newspaper headlines, you could bring in newspaper articles, whatever it is. Okay. in the introduction. So I will leave you to maybe like by 11, and if you have done it earlier, and just paste your introduction in the chat box. Or are the participants allowed to share their screen, Puan Shikin? Can they
Yes,
share?
boleh tak dia share screen?
They can share their screen. Okay. If you happen to have your own tablet or notebook, you can type. And after that, share your screen, of what you have written, the way you'd like to introduce your topic. Yeah, your topic. You think about a topic or a unit. Okay. And then write an introduction to it. Because usually we write introductions, then only we go into content. Yeah, we don't write content first and then go back to introduction. So this is why I'm asking, write the introduction. Okay, but 150 words or even less if you think there's no need. So write as if you're having a conversation. How would you, for example, attract your students' attention or interest to the topic? Anything, you can justify why you do it that way. But basically, write it simply. All right, until maybe about 11 o'clock. If earlier yes?
Prof, just would like to clarify, those who wanted to share their work, then they just raise their hand, then we are going to upgrade them to be one of the panel. Then they can share their screen.
Okay. Perhaps we identify the first 3 who wish to share. Just 3. So the first come, first serve.
Okay, the first 3, then we will upgrade those 3. I hope it's not technical. They have to raise their hand. Then we are going to upgrade them as panel. Then they can share their screen.
All right. Let's try and see. Yes, let's try that way. Okay, I will leave you alone. I will keep quiet.
Share screen boleh. So we will give them until what time, Prof? For them to please unmute, Prof. Please unmute. You unmute. Can you unmute? Sorry.
Okay, at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
However, if they finish, they raise their hand and then we're good to go.
Good to go. All right. Okay.
All right. Okay, rakan-rakan semua, we have about 3 minutes left. How are you all doing?
Prof, there is one sharing at the chat, and kita dah upgrade. Maybe Dr. Rosmin Amin to be the panel. Then
Okay.
he can share his screen if he wants to do so.
Yes.
But it seems that he didn't accept the. And another one, can we have Albert Sun Bing?
I also see someone posting in the chat pun boleh juga lah ya. Maybe that's the more efficient way because tak panjang pun. So siapa tadi ya? Dr. Rosmin Amin ya.
Yeah, Rosmin Amin is the first one yang.
Okay. He has already posted in chat, and so can we have Dr. Rosmin? Okay, maybe I could read it. Welcome to the first topic of MPU 21032, English for digital technology, which is products and services. Okay, you'll be learning how to describe, all that. Lepas tu, you will come across many new terms of words. Okay, please keep a list of the words and their meanings in your personal dictionary. At the end of this unit, you'll be able to describe products and services related to digital technology effectively through a presentation. Okay, all right. Okay, he asks, is something like this okay? Well, you know what? For your first time, within just a short, 10, 15 minutes, you've done it quite well. And you can always improve. Now, this is your very, very first draft. You continue to write the rest of your content. And if you want to be able to, if you want to change a little bit later, why not? You can still do it. Nothing is carved in stone. All right. Okay, there are some who have to leave because of meetings and all that. Yeah, please feel free to do so. I believe if you want to come back to view the recording, yeah, or to go to the rest of the slides on your own, yeah. I mean, it's available for you to do that. Okay, anyone want to comment on or give suggestions to Dr. Rosmin? Okay, we have Dr. Dia Rose Peter, not ready to share, but there's a question.
But we have, Prof, we have maybe Dr. Albert.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
We have upgrade his status as one of the panelists. Maybe he can share his slide or his work.
Do I have to unshare ataupun it will automatically shared? I don't. Okay, stop share. Yeah. All right.
Prof, stop share. Then we can allow Dr. Albert Lim to share his screen, because he's the second one who raised his hand just now. All right.
Okay.
Maybe he can also on his video, then we can.
I'm not appropriately groomed.
Okay,
for the video.
okay, we're just looking
That's
at
all right.
That's all
more
right.
important, more important is
Is it legible? Or is it too small?
Don't see anything yet actually on my screen.
How about now?
Okay. It does take a few seconds, yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, this is about entrepreneurship. Would it be really cool to, okay. Yeah, that's a different way of doing it. Why not? So as I mentioned earlier, it's all about creativity. This is a time when we can think of how to attract the students, how to also relate it to the content that we're going to, teach them. I like this. This is a nice approach.
I was thinking maybe to begin with some background music. I Want to Break Free by Queen.
Okay.
So to actually evoke or to wake up their senses,
Yeah, if you're not making this public, I mean, we don't have copyright law there, yeah, if we use commercial music.
Oh, yeah. Correct.
Yeah, I just have to be a bit
Creative
careful.
Commons.
Yes, go to the Creative Commons music, yes.
Right.
Right.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, so Next. I
We
mean, there's no
can-
right or wrong. Yeah, no right or wrong for this.
We are ready for next, Prof.
Yes, please.
We are going to have Tula Shamal. We have
Okay.
upgrade him as one of the panel, him or her as one of the panel. Now he can share his screen.
Maybe
Dr. Albert, can you
Doctor-
unshare your screen?
yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to stop share.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, there's a suggestion to you, Dr. Lim. You make your own song.
Ah, I may have to change occupation then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Great sharing. Now we have
Data
Tula
processing. Oh, from Taylor's, huh?
Yeah, Taylor's.
Data pre-processing technique. So what you're having here is going into your Moodle, and this is your intro, is it?
We don't have the voice. Can you unmute? We can't hear. Can we get the sound? Dr. Tula Shamal?
Unmute your
yeah,
microphone.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Still we can't get the voice. We can't hear, right, bro? Okay.
Cannot hear.
Maybe a little bit louder.
But otherwise, I think we can imagine. Dr. Tula, did you work with Anna in Taylor's? All right, so what I'm gathering here is the students will watch this video first as an introduction. Maybe Dr. Tula can type, yeah, how you are using the video that you're showing to us now. So this is micro-credential, is it? Yeah, we can't hear the voice or the sound. Okay, thank you, Dr. Tula. Can you just type how you're using that video now? The video that you've just shared. Dr. Tula? Okay. Maybe you could speak. Okay, otherwise, we also have some postings in the chat box. I think I saw 2 earlier.
Prof, after Dr. Tula, we can have another two participants who would like to share their work. Dr. Chiang Chin Tan and Dr. Fakrul Yusof.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have another two waiting in the list after Dr. Tula.
All right.
Dr. Tula, we wanted to speak to explain your work. You can unmute and you can speak to us.
All right.
I used my iPhone to record it, but my slides I've given to the department in my school, ELA. They will help us for doing the editing for my slides.
All right. So how did you use this video for?
I have a storyboard. If you want, I can share with you my storyboard.
Yeah, that's all right. How did you use this video to introduce your course? Did you students have to go into
ODL? It is an ODL program.
Yep.
So we are supposed to introduce this micro credential. So this is my promo video for my micro credential.
It's a promo video. Yeah, it's not about introducing your content. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
No.
All right.
I have
Understand.
introduction of content, other
Another video.
videos.
Okay, understand. All right. Okay, so I think Anna is there helping you, is it? Anna Ayub? All right. Dr. Tula is already muted. Puan Shikin tadi we had siapa tadi ya?
Maybe we can have the next one.
Dr. Fakrul, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Fakrul.
Yeah, Dr. Fakrul, would you like to unmute yourself and tell us or read to us, or we can just read, from what you've posted.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Just share my screen, okay?
Yes, good.
Okay, it's very raw.
Yes,
So
it's all right.
yeah, the idea is that I want to give them idea. This is the subject is on quality management. There are different perspectives of quality. So I want to show them that when you are in different position, there are different things you talk about quality. So
Right.
yeah, so the idea is that probably we have some pictures here and there, and then I don't know, maybe a few more questions or make it a little simpler.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe you can give some ideas.
Okay. I see that you've got okay, now let me see. Are you having content as part of your introduction?
No.
It's
What
not
do you mean by
content yet.
content?
Something that the students should be able to talk about when you
okay. So I think the perspective, different perspectives is content.
All right. So the content, yeah, because if you're, different users look at things differently, some aesthetic, some maybe function. Then if you're a shareholder, you look at it differently, and NGO from the environmental point of view. All right. So if possible, I would put the content in the sub-unit.
You mean before this, before the
After,
introduction?
okay, your first paragraph. All right, now maybe what you're talking about is quality from different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
So it's nice that you started with a question. It already creates an interest. Okay, what do you know about quality? So then they might start thinking, okay, quality, what is quality? What do I know about it? Yeah. Then you could say quality means different things to different people, something like that. Still very general. Just before you start going into content, you talk about if the product you bought is free of defects, then to you, it's probably good quality. But to another person, it may be a quality product if it looks good aesthetically. So if these are points for the learner in terms of meeting one of the related to your course learning outcomes, then I would put that in another section rather than in the intro section. Unless this is intro, very raw, very intro, and after that you're going to talk about this again.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That means,
So
okay, let's look at, it could be an intro if after this you will say, okay, let's look at the 3 points of view. If there are 3, I'm assuming 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Let's look at the 4 different points of view, then you go into detail. Then this can be a nice intro.
Okay.
You understand what I mean, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Welcome. We had one more person, right?
We have another 2 more.
Okay, we'll do this too. Yes, that'll be good.
The other one going to have Dr. Divya Rose Peter.
Okay.
They are both as panel right now, so we can have Dr. Tan first to share.
Because this one is my first time to do that, so I share a little bit long because I thought that, okay, we want to write like 200 words. Okay, so
I'm just only asking, you can do it 200, but I think 150
okay.
could be enough, yeah.
Okay, so I just like very simple to say that like welcome, because this one got the pre-requirement course. So maybe I can ask some of the last semester what they, because this one is a macroeconomics. So maybe I start from my lesson. I will ask them like recall back what you learned from last semesters, then how it's linked with now the macroeconomics. Yes. Then after that, I will give a very general examples. What's the difference between the micro and macro economics? Then this one is more like quite specific explanation of what is the difference between the micro and macroeconomics, that give them some examples. What's the difference between the micro and macroeconomics?
I like the table, yeah. Okay.
Then after that, then we go to the introduction of macroeconomics. So what is the meaning of macroeconomics? Then we'll ask them the question like, can you give some examples that are related to the macroeconomics variables that you heard before, like the GDP, inflation, blah, blah, blah. Then after that, maybe go detailedly for the next step, the content.
Okay, so did you just write this, or this one is something that you wrote earlier? You just wrote this. Wow, that's good. You have a flair for writing.
First time, then I quite like blur. I don't know what should I write on. So I just like simply to write that the introduction.
Right. Okay. Now there is a difference between, if you're writing for an existing course, a course that you're already teaching, or a brand new course that the university is about to launch. So in this case, you've already got the content in you. You probably have taught this course a few times.
Yes.
All right. So let me just make some comments. If the student were to read this, I would separate an introductory paragraph before the actual content. So you've got your content where you define. I think you have defined macro, I think, yeah? You define microeconomics. You would intro as to, you're trying to tie, help the student tie their previous knowledge from a previous course with the course that they're about to take. So that's also good. And then what you've done is you give them a question. What is economics? And then you're asking them something about what have you learned, from microeconomics? Or why? Okay, before that, why do we need to study economics? What have you learned from microeconomics, the previous course, before this, right? And then, so what can we learn now? Next, why is it? Okay, what can we learn from macroeconomics? Okay, maybe you can say something like, next, let's learn what macroeconomics is all about. Is it the same as microeconomics?
Okay.
Okay, and then maybe a little bit more, and then after that, I mean, I think that one also okay lah. Yeah, microeconomics looks at the whole individual. Yeah, it means they're recalling from the past. Macroeconomics, yeah, on the other hand, looks at the whole, the aggregate, and it sees and analyzes the forest. Okay, then you can stop there.
Okay.
Then you get into content. So the content is definition. You got microeconomics, yeah, and after that macroeconomics. So then you ask them, okay, what do you see a difference, you know? So it's like you're actually teaching them, making them think, making them yeah, because they have to be clear that micro and macro are different. What are the differences? How do they differ? You know, that sort of thing. Yeah, not
Okay.
bad for a first timer.
Thank you.
All right. Now we just need to organize. Yeah, I mean, right now you're writing from the top of your head, but you need to have an outline, and every sub-unit content, you need to have your learning activity and your self-check for the student. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm from Sarawak. My university's name is University College of Technology Sarawak. It's quite a new university.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We have one more person, right? Puan Shikin? Dr. Dia.
Yeah.
Divya.
Hi, Prof. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Prof. Yeah, I'm Dr. Divya from Quest International University, Perak.
Okay.
Yeah. So we plan to start one ODL program for Bachelor of Special Need Education. So we just started doing ODL. So can I share the screen?
Yeah,
So,
please.
Yeah. So I did for our educational psychology.
Yeah. That used to be a subject I taught for about 11, 12 years.
Oh, great. My background also from psychology.
Yeah, psychologist. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So this is just a draft. So we have content part. In content part, we discussed about synopsis, work.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. That was like the part one I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
All right.
Then topic 1, psychology of learning. Then I'll just show the chapter 1. Yeah. This is synopsis. Course learning outcome.
Okay.
Teaching and learning approaches.
Yep.
Assessment. And so this is our topic 1. So 2.1, yeah. This one we just put introduction and overview.
Yes.
Just like unit LO learning outcome.
Okay.
So after that we came up with one activity. Let's discuss what you.
Okay. So this is about the social model, the intro, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Introduction, then what is education psychology scope?
Okay. Now, right now you're detailing what's to come, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Like a preview of what's to come. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have mind mapping in between. Yeah. So this is an activity self-reflection. In between we did activities.
So this is like more of a guide, yeah?
Yeah.
Learning guide. I would call this a learning guide. It's not complete. It's not a self-instructional material yet, yeah? Yeah, okay.
So Doctor, how can we improve our content?
You just expand.
Yeah.
Just expand. Right now I see it as a learning guide.
Yeah.
Then you just need to turn them into either units or topics, and then right. Usually I will have people write about 10, 12 pages, and that includes videos and all the other media elements online or your own, yeah.
So Doctor, I think we need only 12 to 15 pages, right, for the self-instructional material.
Yes, you can do up to 15 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly text is about 15 pages.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And you have how many topics altogether?
Altogether, we have 5 topics. Yeah.
5 topics. Okay.
Yeah. Because in the 5 topics, we divided into a lot of activities. Let's watch video.
Okay.
Let's discuss.
Yeah. Okay. You know that student learning time. You have also probably indicated how much time is geared to independent learning or self-guided learning, something like that. Yeah. So if that is about going through the sim or your learning guide, then the number of hours should more or less match.
Okay, okay, okay.
So the length of your sim is related to
Yeah,
how long it takes for the student
yeah,
to go through it in terms of what you specify in table 4. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Doctor,
All
sure.
right.
Noted, doctor. Thank you
Okay.
so much for the feedback. Yeah,
Very good. Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Puan Shikin?
Prof, that
Yes.
is the last
Okay. All right.
participant who wanted to share as panel. Then we have
Yeah.
another two.
Yeah.
They wrote their draft in the chat. So they do not want to be upgraded or share their work, but they share it in.
Okay. Maybe we can cover this. Maybe we can cover this in the Q&A session. Yeah. All right. Okay, let me just quickly try to finish my next presentation until about 11:30, right? But we do have until about 12:30 for Q&A, correct?
Yeah, yes, true, Prof.
Because there are some people saying, oh, they thought the presentation is until 12:30. Okay, let me go back to my screen. Okay, do you see? Okay, do you see the screen called Gunning Fog Index? Everybody? I think you do, right? So, not yet, yeah?
From my screen, I can see, Prof. I hope the same for the participants.
Okay, it just took a few seconds. All right. Okay, so this Gunning Fog Index, if you want to be sure that you're writing it as simplistically as possible or as simple as possible or as an easy to read manner, you could use this Gunning Fog Index. It's available online. You just, type that URL that I show there. Then you will see this box. You just copy and paste your text into the box and see, and then after that, hit the calculate button here. And then after that, it will give you a score. I would go for 15 or below. More than that, it's a little on the not so easy to read level. Yeah, so I'm just telling you this. So this is online. I used to make authors calculate, count the words and count the sentences. That is a formula. But now on the internet, it's available for you to just copy paste, as however much text you want. I think maybe there's a limit, but can be quite even one page of text, and then you can see what's your writing level at. Yeah. Okay, something useful if you want to be sure to have your writing easy to read. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is this. I think some of you have already got it. So either I did a good job or you have already got the experience. So in terms of learning activities and self-checks, let's say you have this video there and you'll talk about, getting the student to watch the following video. And I continued, from earlier, the 13 accounting concepts. So this video will reinforce what should have been learned, yeah? And then after that, you give them a self-check. You have to determine how much has been learned. And the purpose of this, two things. Number one is to instill confidence among the students. If they were able to name all the 13 or most of the 13, some level of confidence. And also, if they actually know about the 13 accounting concepts, they will feel a sense of satisfaction that, oh, okay, I've been, they went through the material, they went through, either the text or the videos, and suddenly they can tell what the 13 accounting concepts are. So they feel satisfied, not only confident, but satisfied. So that's the purpose, largely learning activity and self-check, to help with the learning. All right, I'm just going to quickly go through this. It's about not just using text, but pictures. You can take pictures that are free to use, or you can pay for picture libraries and use them, without worry of copyright, because they allow you to do so, with payments, or if they offer it for free. Sometimes we also we talk about it, but we explain, but sometimes it's better to have it in diagram form as well. Or you can skip the explanation, just go direct to the diagram. You know, if it's very easy to understand, you can do that. It could be tables, graphs, charts, infographics. So for example, diagrams, you could show processes. You could, and you can get things online now. You pay some money. I mean, I paid $44 for all this and more. And you can use, you can use diagrams to show cycles, to explain your ideas. I mean, I'm just giving you a sample. Yeah, not everything. Use graphs, use infographics, add tables to your content, and then timeline charts. Yeah, to highlight your events, and then of course, you can use visuals like this. Yeah. Okay, actually that was my content as well. So you can always incorporate any of these things. You could incorporate slides, audio, video, and then you can use Canva to come up with those visuals, or things like if you want to get them started and you want to see how much they've understood or what knowledge they have, or to test their knowledge, you can use any of these, or Padlet if you want them to like share content, opinions, whatever, Pinterest, crossword puzzles, quizzes, and many things. Yeah, I mean, not limited to all these. And of course, I think, was it Dr. Lim? Yeah, Dr. Albert Lim mentioned OER. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, public domain like YouTube, Vimeo, as long as you credit them. Yeah, and don't download and claim it as your own, but it should be playing on the original platform. OER, just check the license, whether you can reuse or repurpose or redistribute. Yeah, all that. And always remember constructive alignment. And there's a reason for this. Ministry wants us to get into this. MKA also will check on this, so just let us do that. So everything has to be constructively aligned. All right, for some of you, some of us can just write on our own, put in our own visuals, media, incorporate, integrate media, and so on. So you can go ahead and do that. But some of us, especially when you need diagrams to be drawn and you're not an artist, or you don't know how to make things interactive, or you don't know how to integrate media, you may need some help. So there could be a team at your institution, or this can be outsourced if you don't want to have a team because it's not that economically feasible. But basically, these are the talents that you need. And then, of course, sign off, as part of the quality processes. So if you were the course writer, what this team does, to your content, you will check to see that nothing has been accidentally deleted or copy and pasted from somebody else's work, as they worked on the material. So you could have it signed off, and then of course your program head and maybe dean. But this is dependent on the institution, what you'd like or who you'd like to be involved in the quality processes. Okay, but this is again, this is for a larger university. This is typical cycle, and it does, and this way it takes that 12 to 18 months, or if very quickly done, about 6 months minimum, for decent work. Of course, you want to do it really, really nice, then of course the longer you have, the better it is. These are just some of the typical checklists that you could use. It could be different from institution to institution, but this is just one generic list that I'm sharing. So basically, SIM should provide an enjoyable learning experience. Whether it is in the asynchronous environment or synchronous environment, whether the student is online with you or offline, on their own, or whether it is physically on site or even off site, it could be whether you plan it to be for individual learning or even for collaborative learning. Typically, forums will lend to collaborative learning, lend itself to collaborative learning. And when we talk about assessments, whether it's assessments for learning, with learning, or off learning, that's another session by itself. Before I go into the Q&A, let me see if I can share with you okay, let me know if you see this. Pengantar geography.
Yes, we can see from
All right, good.
Secretariat.
Yes.
Participant.
I think it could be seen by everybody based on my perception.
Yeah. Boleh, Prof.
Okay. So this is, let's say you have the raw content. And then I had a few slides which I showed to you, very, very raw content. The one with the mobile phone, and the one on geography. Let's say very raw content, yeah? From that content, it can come to this. So this is one example. This is a first level course, geography. So you can do as visually interesting as visually interesting as you can. You probably need a graphic designer or someone with a graphic eye. Put your learning outcome, assessment method, and the percentage. And then let's say you go into topic 1, the pengenalan is like this. So just now we had Dr. Albert Lim, so almost similar to this, question. So that it can vary from person to person, yeah, or author to author, lecturer to lecturer. And okay, this lecturer is very minimalist. She asked a question. She expects a student to come up, do some exploration, and then this one is just apakah yang terimbas, ya. Pelajar perlu memberikan apa yang terlintas dalam fikiran yang berkaitan dengan geography. So they can go into Padlet, so the link is given. Okay. Let me see if you can see this. Okay. So the student can just type, yeah, you can put the answers, just type whatever. Okay, I'm just typing. Of course, the students will type something real, yeah. They can add pictures or add videos, whatever, and then they can publish. And so every student can respond to this, yeah. Okay. Okay, hang on, I'm going all over the place. I'm going to look for my slides. Not my slides, the other one. Okay. Maybe I go into new share. Okay, I lost it. But okay, that interactive module that I tried to show is still not final in the final form. It's probably like one step away from the final form. And okay, I have to move some things here. Just close this. Okay, this is another form. Yeah, it's the same form, but we did it 2 different. But there are many ways of doing it. Yeah. And actually, you can play the video. Okay, I'm going too fast. So Padlet. Oh gosh. Okay, hang on. So you can do many things. You can play the video if you want. Oh, this one is not playing yet. Somehow. Okay, I can't find the other one. Okay, let me try that again. Huh? Okay, so sorry, I think I lost it. The one that I tried to show you earlier. Yeah, this is the previous one. But anyway, you get it. Basically, you can turn content into interactive modules. I will flip modules first, and then within the flip, you can always add, like for example, if I click this, it will turn, it will go into a Padlet space, and then you can play videos, make it as graphical as possible, integrate social media and so on. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think I'm about done. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that's it. So maybe Q&A. Do you see my slide? Okay. All right. In a few seconds. Okay.
Kipra, are we going to address the Q&A, the comment from the chat group first before we?
Let's take some questions, some other questions.
Okay,
and
we can
then yes.
Our pigeonhole.
Copyright issues. Well, if you are writing an academic paper or textbook or chapters in a book, the same applies to SIM.
So this is the question.
Yeah, that's the same thing. It's the same thing. The same applies to SIM. So you have to get the copyright clearance. You have to acknowledge, where you can, so that you don't run into copyright issues. Okay. Anything else?
Next question.
How to construct which needs practice and skill lab. Oh, this one will be addressed this afternoon, right?
Yep.
So, get into the afternoon session because they will talk about, technical subjects.
Okay.
So basically, you just need something virtual if the students are not coming to the lab. So something virtual, basically that. So the SIM is not about, well, the SIM will bring in the virtual lab session. It's basically, that's how I see it. Yeah, but maybe this afternoon you can see an actual example.
Okay, so we are done with this question. Next question. What is required supplement to a recorded asynchronous lecture to be adequate as C?
Okay, so you're giving a lecture, is it? Is this what is meant by a recorded asynchronous lecture? So that means you've given a lecture, you've recorded it, and then what else is required? Actually, it's the other way around, yeah? Technically speaking, the SIM is your core material. The lectures will be part of the SIM. So it's not the lecture being the main thing, and the SIM is around the lecture. So it is a SIM, the lecture is part of it, integrated. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Next one. Does SIM need to include pacing info, like how many hours expected to be spent, or which content should be covered by which week? We have discussed this.
Yes. I suggested study schedule earlier. So you can call it anything else you want. So you have helped pace a student that way. So you can put it there, all in that one table. Okay. I have very brief answers to this. I hope I've answered all these questions. Very quick responses.
Next question. can we require students to buy a textbook for their own as part of the SIM in addition to the provided study guide?
Okay, what you need to do is identify a textbook, whether the student buys or you provide. And then after that, you write a study guide around the textbook. And you may not use every content in the textbook. You may not use every activity in the textbook. You may have your own activity. So, you know, that's how it should be. Yeah. So you want to identify a textbook and then write a study guide based on the textbook. And we call it a wraparound SIM.
Wraparound SIM.
Yep.
Means that on top of textbook, you can have a SIM as a wraparound material.
Yes, but I think if you have very few students, this may be the approach. But even one textbook may cost 100, 200, 300 ringgit, yeah, depending on the subject matter. So maybe that's a faster way, but make sure that your study guide is still the same thing, writing in simple language, because you want to, you know, you have all those elements of SIM, yeah, that you have to be careful about. It has to be motivational, it has to be independent, it has to be what you call this, all-encompassing and everything else. Yeah. So together with the textbook and together with your, you know, remember the connecting the dots. So you have the textbook, you have the course guide, you have the asynchronous sessions, you have the synchronous sessions, you may have virtual lab sessions. You know, everything has a role in that whole learning ecosystem. So it's a design of everything, how each fits into the delivery of your course, how each of them contribute to the entire learning process, and how they will eventually lead to evidence that the student has achieved the learning outcome. Panchikin may want to add, yeah, because you are the MQA, also a part of the MQA, what you call this, you know what the MQA is looking for, you know.
Yeah. I'm looking at this as an addition to SIM, so it shouldn't be any limitation to that, as long as it will assist student in learning.
Yes,
so
that's the main. Yes, that's the main thing.
As an additional learning material, but when you have a good SIM,
right?
If you have a good SIM and that SIM is complete enough for the student to use in their learning,
right?
Right.
Yeah. Basically, because because we don't meet the students often, you know, maybe a total of 10 hours or 8 hours. So what happens in between? You know, how do you get the students to learn? You know, how are they going to learn? So you have all these various elements, yeah, in the ecosystem. Okay.
All right.
Next.
We have addressed this question. The next question is, must be using ebook as the main reference book if the ODL is 100% mode. It must be using ebook as the main reference book if the ODL is 100% mode.
You mean ODL is 100% online learning? I mean, is that what is meant here?
So do we need to have an ebook on top of SIM? Maybe the question. What is it?
Ebook as the main reference. Oh, okay. You mean an ebook from one of those established publishers, is it? Well, that's just like textbook, but in e-form, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not customized to your course. So you need a study guide to go with it.
So you need a SIM basically to support it.
Yeah, that's right. But the study guide, I mean, the form of a study guide, I mean, it's not a complete SIM. That means they cannot. If it's a complete SIM, you don't need textbook. But if you have a textbook, then you need a study guide to go with it. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
This is a question from Catherine. Okay, I think we have addressed this. Next question. What would be the difference between SIM, e-learning module, micro-credential module, or MOOCs? From Azizul Buang.
Okay. Okay. MOOCs, okay, SIM is a learning material. Micro-credential describes how the course is delivered. Same thing with MOOC, how the course is delivered. Between micro-credential and MOOCs, probably a little bit of a difference, not much of a difference, but it's just micro-credential will be more bite-sized or more, shorter. Let's say a 3-hour course, one micro-credential module could be 1 credit hour, yeah? You take 3 to make a 3 credit hour course. A MOOC could be in informal course or an academic course. You know, it could be amounting to 3 credit hours or 4 credit hours, yeah, a MOOC, and you would deliver it. Yeah, you have the platform. You may have videos, you may have lectures, you may have discussions, you may have some activities, but you can also have a sim in there if you want. You know, sim is like a textbook. It replaces a textbook. So sim could be part of your micro-credential, of course, 1 credit hour worth. Same thing with MOOCs if you want to have a sim. But if you don't have a sim, then you know, it's not that, because micro-credential and MOOCs are not necessarily ODL, right? They're standalone. Yeah, they're standalone. They may or may not be part of an ODL. So that's how I would distinguish it. Yeah, a MOOC is standalone. It doesn't have to be part of a degree program, but with credit transfers, it could. You know, we never hear about MOOCs. You know, like, you know, if you have 40 MOOCs, you get 120 hour credits. We haven't heard something like that yet, except that I think if I'm not mistaken, was it Harvard and all that? They were trying to conceptualize, yeah, a university degree around MOOCs. I'm not sure if that's taken off, but this was an idea a few years ago. And then micro-credentials, yeah, Malaysia has started getting into it, and it's usually not adding up, yeah, not yet, yeah, not adding up to a program yet, but you know, we've seen efforts, yeah, a breakdown of, let's say, 1 credit hour worth, 1 credit hour worth kind of thing. Or sometimes, yeah, it shouldn't be, right? Puan Chicken, micro-credential should be smaller units, yeah, not the complete 3-hour credit course, yeah?
Can be in a smaller unit. We call it, QA is in the process of developing what we call micro-credential standalone program. Currently, we only have
okay, so
micro-credential for accredited program. So basically, they are going to be in like part of a program, like the number of subjects constitute one micro-credential module.
Okay, so you piece all together all these micro-credentials that have been taken and it becomes a complete program. But that's not necessarily an ODL program, right? Depends on how you look at it.
It can be like a group of subjects. They can call it like electronic marketing, so they can call like one particular module for a specific.
Yes.
But it might not be leading into a complete qualification, but they have to find several micro-credential modules to
yes. But SIM can be part of those. You know, if you want to do that, why not? No problem. SIM is quite powerful. If you design it properly, then it can be part of a micro-credential, or it can be part of a MOOC. Then you don't have to break up into too many other learning segments, yeah? When you take all this MOOC and micro-credentials. So yeah.
Or maybe SIM is just the content of a micro-credential module.
Yes.
As a content can be
yes.
All right. Thank you, Prof. I hope we have addressed this question. Can we move on to the next question? Isn't SIM based on the flawed assumption that it is self-supervised and that learning is predicated on students having the discipline to go through the materials?
Yes.
How many do that?
Okay, that is true. I mean, like OUM, for example, yeah, it has been using SIM from day one. And we find that not every student goes through the module before the tutorial. And that's why tutors end up giving lectures, although we tell them, no, you cannot give lecture. But then, you know, because so it's a catch-22 situation, right? The chicken or the egg kind of thing. You know, when students go to class without having read the module, then what do the tutors do in class? So they end up teaching, you know. Whereas, and if they were to do activities like tutorials, the students cannot answer. So it's a catch-22 situation. It's like a flipped learning thing, right? I mean, this SIM is like flipped learning, yeah, providing material that the students use in the context of flipped learning. I mean, that's another example that I can think of. And if they don't do that, don't do the learning first before they come to class, because you learn first, you go to class to do exercises, or to maybe lecturers can give them questions, no practice questions for exams, or they could be giving questions so that the students can think of answers. It could be application question. You can, and then they give examples outside, what has been given in SIM. So it's all about the learning architecture. It's all about the learning ecosystem. So this is on the implementation side. So if you want to make sure that your students read before they come, don't ever give content. And I've had one lecturer, this in the flip context. So she told me, because I was talking about flip learning, or gave a seminar on flip learning, and she said she tried. So for the first 3 times, the students did not read whatever she asked them to do. But she insisted, hey, you did not read. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to give you the content. You have to read first. So by the 4th session, then the students got into the habit. So, I mean, it's all about implementation.
So the lecturer must know how to play their role.
Exactly. It's about management. Yeah, it's about learning management now. You've already told them. That's why the onboarding or the orientation, for students must be good, and make an impression of them to say, oh, okay, this is how it's going to be. This is what I have to do. And if I want to succeed, I will do it. And there are many students, of course, in ODL. In ODL, tutorials are not compulsory, right? So students don't attend the tutorial. So maybe SIM is what they will learn, go through eventually, without going to the tutorials, where they will get extra practice and so on. All right. So
because there's a lot of effort has been done behind developing the SIM. So I think the students should get the benefit from the material itself.
Correct. So being Malaysians, the only thing is, because being Malaysians, they're used to, last minute studying, they're studying for exams. So, I mean, that habit has to be broken.
Okay. The right learning culture need to be inculcated.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, betul.
Right. So I think we move on to the next question.
Yes.
This is the last question, I think this is the
okay.
A few more questions. This is not the last one, Prof. But this question is from someone who is not a lecturer. Maybe he's working he or she is working with the government service, have a lot of experience in management, and have a master's degree in business admin, and would like to become the module writer.
Okay.
This module khusus kelulusan. Maybe she wanted to be the developer of SIM, even though she is not a lecturer herself. What is your opinion on this?
Okay. All right. Okay. Some universities do engage external course writers or external SIM developers, and they go to training, and then after that they write, and they're appointed, they're given an agreement to write. So if you think you can write, just apply. I mean, usually it's by invitation, right? Okay. You can just approach, we don't know you, let's say, for example, if we don't know you because you're not in academia, you can approach the universities that are developing SIM. Okay, say, okay, I want to write, then what I normally did before was to get a sample chapter from the writer. And then after that, once it's clear, I mean, you train, you get that draft, and then if you see the potential, then you appoint and give the agreement, and then you write. And then, of course, when it comes back, we consider that first draft. There could be some corrections depending on feedback, from the university. And once your assignment is your content is finalized, sometimes we also, if it's a brand new course, we have an external course assessor who will look at the breadth and depth of your content. Once that is all done, then we go into the development mode. I mean, in short, yes, you can be a module writer as long as the university agrees to appoint you.
Okay. All right. So this is like a professional module writer. You can assist the lecturer in developing scene for
Also
them.
can, yeah, also
So
can
they don't have
co-author.
So the
Yes.
lecturer might not be the writer for the scene.
Yes, yes, yes. So there's another model where the full-time lecturer doesn't have time to write a sim, because let's say she's also developing one sim or too busy to even write any sim. So they will advertise for writers, or they will call for those who are interested. So they will oversee,
The
the part-timer. Yeah, I mean, the table of content is given. Yes, the table of content is given because it's based on the what has been submitted to NQA. So then you write based on that. So you cannot just simply write, yeah.
It must be in line with the content of the program.
Correct. Because when the auditors come, they will check. What did you say you were going to teach? Did you teach it? You know, so you cannot just simply write on your own, yeah, without referring to the table of content or the what you call this table 4 of the course submitted and
This
approved.
situation will happen depends on the institution if they allow for an outside module writer to assist the lecturer in writing.
Correct, correct. Because quality, in the end, is about quality. Yeah.
So far, do these being practiced in Malaysia, Prof?
Oh yes.
Other institutions? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Usually we bring in other academicians. Sometimes if we know the person is an expert, sometimes we need examples from industry or the experience of the industry. Then of course the person who is based in industry might be the better one, yeah, better person to write. So it's not a closed, I mean, it shouldn't be closed. In fact, like the major ODL institutions, not every lecturer writes, because we don't have a complete set of faculty members, kan, Puan Shikin. We don't have like, if you have like 30 programs, it's not like you have 3,000 lecturers.
Yeah.
I mean, the tutors, sometimes we invite the tutors to write, the good ones, you know, those who can teach and can write, those are the good people who can potentially write good sims.
So interesting. So SIM could be a group project. It does not mean that like a one lecturer's punya kind of assignment.
Correct, yeah.
Group. They can also
Right.
appoint a professional SIM writer, an expert from outside or from industry to assist in development of.
Well, I haven't met a professional sim writer yet. I mean, we have not got to that stage, the maturity stage yet. But as I said, if you're interested, then we train you, because different institutions will want to produce it differently, and they will tell you, okay, what they need, yeah, from you. But they'll give you the content outline, of course, and then after that, you write, and then you know, the full-time faculty member will oversee the process, yeah. And then you have maybe at the in-house development team or something that, you know, you outsource, yeah, to an external development team and get the job done.
All right, thank you. Next question. Next question. How do you ensure external material like YouTube remains available across semesters? Oh, because some of the YouTube might be deleted or removed from
Yeah,
it.
exactly. You can. You just have to keep checking whether that YouTube link is still working. There's no way to ensure that they remain available across semesters because you don't own the content.
Okay, so we can control this. This is an external factor. Depends on manage how YouTube manage the content.
Yep.
Okay, next question.
Then you have to change, like, you have to adjust the content if you have to. Otherwise, you create your own. 2-3 minutes of your own.
Your own rather than depending on YouTube's.
Yes.
Is it correct to say that SIM should trigger interest to explore the topic being discussed? So SIM should be enough to have fundamental knowledge on the topic, but shall explore other resources.
Okay. Yes to both. That's why Dr. Albert Lim was saying something about there's no guarantee that the students will go through the SIM. But if your SIM is so attractive, if it engages the students will read it. And it's not like a textbook where it's like, you know, 20, 30 pages or 30 pages per chapter, yeah? And it's in fine print, yeah? But this SIM is interactive. There's questioning, there's media, you know, activities and all that. So hopefully the SIM that you do is something, what you call this, done well to trigger the interest to explore the topic being discussed. It's not to say to explore, but they're willing to go through the sim to learn on their own. Yeah. And then should have fundamental knowledge. Well, it all depends on your CLO. Yeah, you have to put everything in there. Okay, or at least most of it in there. And then when they do the other things, the forums and the synchronous sessions, they will get that complete set of knowledge. But it should be it should be whole. Yeah, SIM should have all the contents that they need to be able to achieve the learning outcomes. Okay.
Anything beyond learning outcome should be beyond SIM, then the student can do their own reference.
Yes, correct. Then you can tell the student, all right, if you want to know more about this or explore more on your own or go deeper into the topic, then you can suggest some resources, either in SIM or in the forum or in the tutorials. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. We have 11 more questions, but we still have about 30 minutes.
No problem, no problem.
Should we give the SIM to the students at the beginning of the semester as a whole or part by part throughout the semester? Do you mind suggest what is best based on your experience?
Okay, so the best is to give everything at the start of the semester, even sometimes we call it week 0, yeah. So even before the first tutorial, you already uploaded the SIM. However, if you're developing a SIM for the first time for that course, and you don't have that much time, so you could develop half and upload, and then soon after that upload the other half. So that's a shortcut way. That's the first time, but the next semester you already have a complete SIM. That's practicality, yeah. How to manage that the short time that you have before a course is offered. And then what is this? What is best? Oh, what is best? Well, I mentioned it earlier. The best is the whole thing, but otherwise, sometimes we call it drip courses. Yeah, you put in half, and then after that, you quickly put in the other half. Okay. What is this now?
Next one, even creating multi-sensory iBook. Example, clicking on a GIF on the page, a video animation.
Okay, all right. Okay, this is a perpetual problem. I mean, I've been teaching for almost 40 years. Wow. Students usually learn for the sake of exams, because that's been instilled from school. You learn for the sake of exams. It's all about getting good grades in exams. That's what matters most in the end. It's not about the learning journey. It is about whether you get to the next stage, yeah, usually it's based on exams. So the same thing in the university. And unfortunately, that's why some students copy, plagiarize. I've been in disciplinary committees, yeah. Why they copy, how they copy, during the physical exams, yeah, I'm talking, and it's even easier online, yeah, if you don't take any measures like proctored exams or locked in browser. So people sometimes, students typically ask, okay, why don't you just tell us what questions are going to come out in the exams, or give us some tips. So that culture versus wanting to learn because you really want to learn, yeah. Then it depends also on your assignments. A lot of factors like human, because we're dealing with human beings. It's complex, yeah. So it's all about motivation, and it's all about the carrot and the stick approach. What gets mentioned gets done, yeah. Like that lah. We talk about this about implementation. It's not like you have a SIM and everything automatically happens. There are many other things that you need to do to implement it well. Okay, it's all about, it's an ODL mode, and that's the other thing just came to my mind. A lot of people think ODL is easier than being a full-time student. Yeah, a lot of people have that misperception. Yeah, maybe if you're a mature student, and especially if you're taking the postgrad level, I find that the postgrad students are more mature and more serious. Not everyone, some of them drop out, yeah, because they can't cope. But most postgrad students are mature students, and they are in because of intrinsic reasons, yeah, not extrinsic reasons. So they will be the one who will be serious, yeah, responding to forums, being active, and all that, yeah. So many factors. Okay.
Okay. Next question. Would you like to suggest some tips and tricks on how to keep the student participative and active?
Give marks, especially for forums. And then, yeah, basically. And then if you want to give some marks during tutorials, I mean, don't do so much of it, but just enough to entice them. You know, sometimes people give quizzes during forums, if I'm not forums, what I call this, during tutorials. So these quizzes bring you marks, you know. I mean, this is all the creativity lah. Some tips and tricks. Wow, those are some of the things that I would try. If you don't give marks, not easy. But unless the students are matured enough, so it's for intrinsic reason rather than for extrinsic reason. Okay.
Okay.
Dr. Muhammad Iqbal.
Yeah, the question is very like human.
Yeah, I mean, there's no,
Motivation factor.
Correct.
To keep them alive in the class.
Yes.
All right. Next question is, good day, Prof. Can you please share how do we update SIM on X subjects, matters?
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes, I understand that. Okay, some X change, yeah, every few years, yeah. We ourselves as the subject matter expert will keep tab on new laws, yeah. And when there's a new law, when the new law is out, then of course you have to adjust the content. So just go back to your SIM and then put in the new act. Remove the old one if you have to remove it. As simple as that. It's updating of material. Doesn't matter whether it's on X or whether it's on theories. There's a new learning theory, for example, then you want to put it in. If there's, for example, we don't have online shopping, like, you know, it's not common, like, you know, let's say 10 years ago. So you don't talk much about it. But today, during the COVID time, even I became an online shopper, you know, because I don't want to go out, or the shops are closed. So the only way to get it, or even because you want it cheaper price, you go online shopping. So then if it's like digital business, is it? So then you have to talk about this online business, yeah? So then you have to update your content if it's something that was written before online business became the norm. All right.
Next question is from how many topics?
All
right. I think this is out of our discussion. Prof, you wanted to have your opinion on this? Maybe this
If you have 10 sessions, one topic for a session is good. If you have 5 sessions, let's say 2 hours each, then if you have 10 topics, that means you will cover 2 topics each time. Or you can have let's say if you have 10 sessions, but you have 5 topics, so that means one topic will be covered over 2 sessions. So something like that, like it's a mapping of how many hours synchronous online, okay, and mapping the number of topics with the number of hours of synchronous online. So it could be 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 or 1-to-2, yeah, something like that. That is the perfect match. But if you still cannot squeeze, or you cannot stay within the recommended list, then you have to make an exception. I don't see any problem with that. You know, some courses will have an exception, either lesser topics or more topics.
Okay. How many questions? 2 more questions to go, bro. Okay. Next question. Is SIM a summary of the textbook?
No, it's not.
We have explained in detail what SIM is. So maybe
it's not a summary of the textbook. No.
Okay.
You go with your unless I think I know why. Because some people take the chapters from a textbook, I mean, table of contents from a textbook and adopt it for the course. Then it's like you're dependent on the textbook. And then you think maybe, I don't know how some of us may think, then you think that every chapter needs a summary. I mean, the textbook is given, but you give a summary. No, it's not that. It's not that at all. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this one, okay.
One last question.
Sure.
Estimated. I think he asked us about few questions. This is his. Is the estimated development time for a whole bachelor program? Is the estimated development time I think, for a whole bachelor program?
Okay. It's like this. You have your entire bachelor's program. And let's say, assume that this is a new bachelor's program. So you develop semester by semester. If you have already, if this program is already in existence, and if you are taking ODL students, I'm sure you're taking it from the beginning, right? From year one. So again, it is semester by semester. Do I make sense? That's the practical part of it, yeah? You don't develop the whole program in one go. Let's say if the whole program is for 3 years or 4 years, if you develop everything at the beginning, who knows at the end of the 3 years, you already need to change parts of the content. Depends on your body of knowledge, depends on, you know, what else is happening, you know. If you talk about issues and trends, then, you know, things might change. So you do it batch by batch, yeah, semester by semester. Depends on how you offer the students, yeah, depends on how you offer the courses to this. If it's fixed diet, then you can say that semester by semester. If it's kind of loose, then maybe you go year by year. Okay.
All right, we have one for last question, Prof.
Yes, yes.
Coming in one last one. Boleh Prof jelaskan sikit hubungan antara cost mapping dan CBP dalam pembangunan SIM? Apakah CBP mutlak diperlukan bagi penyempurnaan SIM?
What is CBP, yeah?
What is CBP?
What is CBP? This is a new term for me. Hubungan antara cost mapping dengan CBP. What is CBP? Cost. Who is asking the question? Boleh tak jawab?
Tak ada nama pula tu, anonymous.
What is CBP?
Yang ni kita dapat from YouTube. Pigeonhole. So can the person explain what is CBP? If you can respond either in chat or in Pigeonhole. What do you mean? CBP short form for
There was a response to, yeah, you know, we are dealing with humans. Some love to learn, some students just want to be passive. Yeah. There's culture of studying, yeah, correct.
Okay, never mind, Prof. Can we skip this question because we are not sure what is CBP?
Yeah, okay. So it's a unique term, yeah, nothing in MQA, right? Never came across this term. All right.
Ada one question dekat chat. Does SIM become the main reference in table 4 of the subject?
Sorry, what was it?
Can SIM become the main reference in the subject? I don't think so, right, Prof?
Can SIM become the main reference for the subject?
For one subject. Sebab dalam MQA requirement, kita akan request main reference and then additional reference.
Okay.
So can they name SIM as their main reference? And they can have additional reference on top of having SIM.
Yeah, usually we don't list that like that. Yeah, the SIM is not listed officially like that. The main reference is still some textbooks, maybe classic textbooks, yeah. And SIM will incorporate some contents from the classic textbooks, perhaps, you know, like that. Like usually we do that. We don't put SIM as the main reference. Yeah, we have not done that. I've not seen any university do that.
Okay, so you should have textbook as main reference, and you can have.
Yeah. The main reference may not even be textbook. I mean, it's just main reference that the students can refer to. But SIM is what they refer to first, and then if they think the author has not done a good job, then yeah, you go to that main reference that's listed in the table of content or in the well, it's going to be brought in somewhere like course outline or whatever it is. Yep.
Tak main reference kan dengan additional reference. So I think we answered the question. Okay, dia jawab dah, thank you. Prof, cuma I'm not sure, but going through the material, because some seem they need a platform. It's either in terms of LMS or what type of platform. Have we covered that in our?
Okay, all right. Typically, same before was printed material. Okay. Even in Open University UK and all that, yeah. Even in Open University Hong Kong, it's printed material when they first started. But today you don't have to have it in print. Only the students can print. Okay, leave it to the student to print. It's either some universities supply SIM in the form of PDF, some in the form of ebook or electronic medium, and that can be, you know, the link or the file or the SIM, yeah, can be given in the LMS, because the students will go to the LMS and then you can, I mean, the lecturer can tell the students, okay, welcome to the course, you know, and after that you'll say our primary learning material is the SIM, and then you can give a link or you can make it available somewhere in the learning portal, this SIM. So that's how it works, yeah. If you want to separate, that means every week you do a SIM. You can also do that. I mean, it depends on your preference. It depends on who your students are, what they like. So there's no one way, there's no hard and fast rule, yeah. As long as the SIM is there, as long as students can learn from it, benefit from it, you support their learning primarily through SIM, and then you add, yeah, you augment through your tutorials, through your online forum discussions, and doing assignment. That is also part of learning, yeah. And yeah, the whole learning ecosystem. Look back at that. Okay.
Okay.
Finish. Okay.
Finish. We are done 12:19. And we
19.
have about 800 plus participants with us, Prof.
So 800 people who
myself,
become.
And we have additional about 200 participants through our YouTube platform.
So about 1,000. You're saying about 1,000. Oh, okay. So we can get 1,000 new titles potentially. But yeah. But you know what you have today is a big start. I mean, you have a lot of the knowledge that you need. So it's just a matter of getting started and putting into practice. Yeah, I think I've given you all the main points already. You can take off from here. Of course, it's easier if you're used to writing, if you enjoy writing. It may be a little challenging if you haven't done any writing for textbooks, yeah. But this is not a textbook. It should be simpler. It's as though you are teaching them, yeah, through the module. So hopefully it's easy for you. And what else can I say? Enjoy the process, you know, you are teaching. Enjoy your teaching through the SIM. Instead of lecturing in class, instead of lecturing through webinars, it is teaching them through SIM. And the best part is you don't have to repeat the same thing so many times. And every 3 years, you know, see if you need to update and do that, so that things don't get stale. Or then you get comments from MQA panel, hey, this is already outdated content. And of course, it's okay, you know, they still tell you, okay, you have to fix this, yeah, by the time we do the next visit, it has to be done, right, Panchikin?
And SIM is actually a continuous improvement, bro.
Yes.
Once
correct.
you have it, you have to continuously improve material to make sure that it's in line.
Correct. The maximum you should leave it alone is 3 years. But if you know today you put something, but you know that tomorrow something else has happened, then please change it, you know, or just point it out, make it up somehow if you don't want to go back to the SIM to repair it. But somehow you have to address contents that are new, that are current and all that. So we want to prepare, we want to produce good learning, yeah, among our students. And basically that's it. All right. I think a lot of people are already saying thank you, so they're ready to go.
So on behalf of MQA, I think we have covered everything today. A very detailed and insightful presentation from Prof.
Thank you.
On how to actually address SIM, how to prepare SIM, and we also give opportunity to participants to try out how to draft short SIM so that they can continue on their own on how to.
Yes, they got a taste of it. They've seen how an introduction could be written, and it's not that difficult. Yeah, some people didn't try maybe, but those who did, thank you very much for participating. Thank you, Puan Shikin, for having this session.
Yeah, we are going to invite you again to join any of MQA programs to give more on SIM.
Yeah, inshallah. I've been doing this for almost 20 years.
So thank you to all participants. I hope it has been a very good sharing session and you learned a lot today and you can use the knowledge that you have gained today in developing your.
Yes. I see 35 new messages I haven't read. So, but anyway, is it possible to copy all the chat postings?
We can try to do that and we can send that through your email.
Yes, that would be nice to see what I have missed. Maybe there are some things that I can learn from everyone as to what the gaps are, in terms of what I have shared. And then we can try to have more people benefit next time. Yeah. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. So our apologies if there is any shortcoming while we are conducting this webinar today. And the afternoon session, we are going to continue for SIM for Engineering program. That program will start at 2:30 this afternoon. So before we end our session, I have 2 pantun for all the participants.
Oh, okay.
Kalau ada jarum yang patah, jangan disimpan di dalam peti. Kalau ada silap dan salah, jangan disimpan di dalam hati. One more is an old pantun lah. I love to use old pantun. Kalau ada sumur di ladang, boleh kita menumpang mandi. Kalau ada umur yang panjang, boleh kita berjumpa lagi. So thank you, Prof. Thank you to all participants. Stay safe and please continue view our YouTube and our announcement for any training related to QA conducted by MQA. So you are invited to join us in any of the program. So before we end, can we have one quick photo session with Prof?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much, Prof. I hope everybody learned a lot from our session today and we can have more session on SIM and hands-on program. And maybe we can have in a smaller group so that
yeah, that's right.
give more focus to all the participants. But hari ni kita ada dalam 500.
500. Okay.
500. Okay.
All right. So.
Dah ambil gambar? Okay, done.
Okay. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. Salam hormat dan stay safe everyone. All right, let's see if we can copy the chat. Yeah, I am not able to do it within such a short time. So banyaknya chat.
Mute je lah. Kita akan copy soalan tu from chat, nanti we share dengan Prof.
Alright, thank you so much. Okay, kita jumpa lagi.
Most of it macam thank you je towards the end tu. Mungkin question kita try to address tadi sebab saya dah advise them to ask all the question dekat pigeonhole.
I see. Okay. Kita dah jawab dah.
Ask question dekat YouTube.
Yes.
Cuma ada satu soalan tadi lah on gaming fork index. Ada tak soalan? Gaming for index. Ini tak ada lah soalan tu.
Gaming for index.
Soalan on Gunning Fog Index, yeah.